Thank you, Greg. Today we're going to hear from one of our own, Ken Balsley, and one of his friends, actually the curator of the Lacey Museum, who is, I'll tell, she has a longer name here. It's Erin Quinn Valcho. She's a native Washingtonian who grew up in Bellingham and graduated from Pacific Lutheran. She went to graduate school in Colorado, where she graduated from the University of Denver with a master's in anthropology and museum studies. She's been a museum professional now for 18 years and is now the curator of the Lacey Museum, where she's been for 2.5 years now. She's glad to be back in Washington and delighted to make Lacey her home, where she lives with her husband Chris and her 6-year-old daughter. Her name is Zia, and she's a member of Gateway Rotary. Also presenting will be Ken Balsley, who is a local historian. So let's welcome them both.
Are we ready?
I'm height challenged, so we'll move that. Yes, we're ready.
Are we ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
Yeah, I am. First of all, I want to say, though, that I'm not a historian. The historian has to stick to the facts. You guys like history.
Well, it's a good thing for you that I'm here because I am a historian and I'm here to keep him in line and make sure that we get our facts straight. Also, a disclaimer, this presentation may contain some discussion of the rivalry between Lacey and Olympia, but rest assured, that's all in the past.
Yeah, sure. Hey, I want to start right now in 1961, because that was a really good year. The repressed 1950s were coming to an end. You know, things were doing great for everybody. In Thurston County, downtown Olympia wasn't only the dominant player for retail sales, it was the only player. So 80% of all retail sales in Thurston County emanated from a 4-block area of downtown Olympia. And the Olympia political scene was dominated by downtown business owners who held all 3 seats on the 3-member Olympia City Commission. There's only one chamber of commerce, the Olympian Chamber. But out in the rural areas, out towards the east, an area that is known as Lacey, something was beginning to stir.
Now, wait just a minute. We can't start there.
Sure we can.
Well, we can't. We have to go back a little bit. We can't forget the 10,000 years of human history that happened here before the Americans arrived. Our neighbors, the Nisqually tribe, down the road, made their living on 2 million acres from here to Mount Rainier. And we certainly can't forget that the earliest American settlers arrived in the Lacey area in the 1840s and 50s by traveling the Oregon Trail, like John Hawk here, who came in 1854 and for whom Hawk's Prairie was named for, not the bird, like many people think. Also, when the railroad came in 1891, that's when things got really interesting. The little community of Woodland, as Lacey was known then, got a racetrack, a general store, a hotel, and a post office. It was then that the name Lacey started to catch on. And then in the roaring 20s, that's when the resort era started in Lacey. There were about 19 resorts around Lacey's lakes at one time or another, and people came from all over the region to vacation.
So can we get how much Lacey's history now?
All right, I guess we can't spend the next 20 minutes talking about the last century, so let's move on.
All right. Let's go back to 1961. That's where I want to start again, 1961.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs chafing at the restrictions of the decade in the downtown Olympia political establishment. I have a script.
There's a reason for that. You want to get out of here, say that.
So those people in Lacey were looking at removing the roadblocks that held them in place and looking at new and innovative business models. Lacey had some businesses already, a few stores, a restaurant, gas stations, and a small shopping center.
Hey, aren't you forgetting something?
What?
The Lacey Drive-In. That was a very popular place to go. And let's not forget the Evergreen Ballroom, which was a popular place for music and
I got in more
dancing
trouble in
and
that place.
big name acts. Nobody wants to hear about that, Ken.
You sure?
Yes, it's great.
Well, even with all that, new businessmen were prowling the outskirts looking for new business opportunities, taking advantage of cheap land and cheap water and the demand for military veterans. New houses were going up all over the area. Out in Al Thompson was creating Tango Island Thompson Place, and Bob Bloom was building Brentwood and Bel Air. And Mo Lovelace, with the idea for a new type of retirement community, had purchased the old Mountain View Golf Course and was beginning to build a new Panorama City retirement community.
And at the same time, a small group of Lacey business owners began to talk about forming a chamber of commerce to promote Lacey's interests.
And in the meantime, events in Lacey weren't going unnoticed by Olympia business interests. While not yet feeling threatened, they did see that the possibility existed that that area to the east could become a problem. So the city of Olympia began moving forward with a number of annexations to expand its borders to the east.
And these were being done without a vote of the people, but by a method that was called assessed value annexation, which is when 75% of the people with the property value got to decide what would happen. So take a look at the orange areas of this map.
Yellow.
I guess it's kind of yellow.
Right.
Anyway, it's a lot of land that all of that was annexed into Olympia in the 1960s. So you can see how they were going at it.
But looking out for Lacey's interest was Thurston County Fire District Number 3, now known as the Lacey Fire Department. Filling its ranks were many of Lacey businessmen who had volunteered for years to protect residents and used their own money out of their own pocket. They had a lot of influence in the community. And in 1964, Fire Chief Rex Jordan was approached by Olympia businessmen to ask for his support of the fire district in annexation, knowing how important their voice would be.
And they said no thank you for two reasons. One, it really got their hackles up that the residents weren't being given the opportunity to vote on the matter. And second, they felt that Olympia's form of government at the time did not fully represent the people.
And not only did the chief say no, but he immediately set up a meeting with Lacey Chamber of Commerce, with the North Thurston School District officials, and Lacey businessmen like Bob Bloom and Al Homan. And they formed a committee to begin the process of incorporating Lacey as a city.
And it took only 2 days for the signatures to be gathered for the incorporation effort. Leading up to the election of August 1964, there were many town hall meetings where emotions were high and heated words were exchanged.
While Lacey business interests were fully in support of a new city, not all of the residents were. Many just wanted to stay in the unincorporated parts of the county.
And many residents asked the county to delete their property from the area that was to be incorporated, and the county did. And if you look closely in this photo, you can see the blank pages that are taped up to the map indicating the portions that were to be deleted from incorporation. In the end, incorporation was defeated with only 37% voting for it. It didn't take long for Olympia to start looking at annexation again. And then on the other side, the Committee for Incorporation felt that there was enough interest in creating a new city that they would try again. And so before a year was even up, the two sides were back at it again.
But meanwhile, Bob Bloom, a local businessman, was looking at another opportunity, and that opportunity took the guise of Interstate 5. Bloom knew that wherever transportation went, financial opportunities were to follow. He said that the new freeway was like a river of commerce. And wherever there was an off-ramp, there would be a new port city. And he began to acquire property. Enough property to build a new shopping center. But not without some trouble. When Bob sought financial support from Olympia banks and business interests, they laughed at him. They said, nobody's going to want to go to Lacey to shop. But before the 1966 election took place, South Sound Shopping Center was a reality.
And as the election for incorporation drew closer, the fire department drew up the boundaries. Ooh. Ah. There we go. I touched the pad and it all went crazy.
Yeah, like me.
No comment. The fire department drew up the boundaries of what they hoped would become Lacey, which included a hotly contested part of the fire department's boundaries that went all the way to Boulevard Road in Olympia. And it was about a third larger than the one voters had already turned down in 1964.
Well, this time, the 1966 election, the sides were clearly drawn. It was either incorporated as Lacey, or Olympia was going to come out and annex the heart of Lacey's business district, including the new South Sound Center. If you look at this red circle on the map, that represents a proposed annexation by Olympia. A group of Olympia businessmen pushing for annexation, including Mo Lovelace of Panorama, who wanted to be in Olympia, made it clear that if the election failed, they would begin steps for annexation. This time around, even more residents asked the county to delete them from the incorporation map, but this time the county stayed out of it.
And the Daily Olympian, which ran an in-depth expose over 3 days to help voters decide the issue, came out decidedly in favor of annexation to Olympia because they said that the cost of starting up a new city would be too great. And I gotta say, reading these articles 50 years later, I really got the sense that the residents in Lacey would see this attitude as really patronizing. It sort of felt like Olympia was the big brother with his arm around his skinny little kid sister saying, "Oh, come on, you can't do this without my help." And I think they kind of took it as a challenge. "You just watch us," they might have said. "We don't need you telling us what to do."
Well, that vote took place on November 8th, 1966, and much to the surprise of the Olympian and some people here in Lacey, incorporation won the day by just 240 votes difference. Because it was so close, the results were not certified until December 5th, almost 2 weeks longer than required by law.
And that wasn't the last fight with the city of Olympia. Far from it. Some of the people who lived in the Boulevard Road area were really upset at the results of this election, and Lacey City Council, having expected that, like in the previous election, some of the area would again be deleted by the county, agreed to hold a special election to let those who wanted revert back to the county. But Olympia officials beat them to the punch, and the day after the election was certified, a new move to annex part of Lacey continued in force. Their annexation election would be held in January, a month before Lacey's February election. Round 2 was won by Olympia with a 2/3 majority. Many expected that would be the end of the fight, but some residents who wanted to be in Lacey and felt like they had already made that decision, filed a suit alleging illegal voting activity. And after a court battle that went all the way to the Washington Supreme Court, the vote held, and as we all know, that land is now in Olympia.
Well, at the beginning of cityhood, Lacey faced a new problem. It had no money, no staff, and no idea what it was going to do. So that first year was spent hiring a police force, buying a water system, getting streetlights, and setting up a revenue stream. By the next year, 1967, Lacey was the second fastest growing city in the state. Don't ask me what the first was.
The next controversy came in 1969, just 2 years later, when Olympia tried to annex the entire city of Lacey in one shot.
Yeah, again.
Which would have merged the two cities into one. It had to be approved by a majority of both cities. Olympia defeated the motion by a slim margin of only 30 votes. Lacey, however, said no by a 3-1 margin.
And you thought becoming a city was real easy, didn't you? Although that issue was clearly over, the battle was not. The first one came over a bus system. Lacey leaders wanted bus service to bring customers to South Sound Center and other Lacey businesses. Olympia had a bus system that ran to Tumwater, but not into Lacey. In the end, after many years, lots of negotiations, Lacey had to agree to buy into the bus system, pay an entrance fee, and pay to have the service extended.
And then Lacey needed sewers. Most of the city was on septic systems, and in many parts of the city, the land was not conducive to long-term use of septics. Olympia owned and operated the only sewer system in the area. Lacey couldn't afford to start its own, and so connection to Olympia's system was the only solution. Again, battle lines were drawn, and again this time with help from the Department of Ecology, Lacey had to agree to buy in the system, pay an entrance fee, and let Olympia manage it.
Now, those battles later led to intergovernmental agreements like in-city transit and a lot. And continued negotiations in other areas eventually put Lacey and Olympia on the same footing. Now there are intergovernmental agreements and joint partnerships between the cities, including Medic 1, 911, and Animal Services. Just for you, right? Into the 70s and 80s, Lacey came to dominate retail shopping until the opening of the Capitol Mall on Olympia's west side. In no time at all, the mall owners out of the country with deep pockets took a major portion of the retail trade.
Well, Lacey began to make a name for itself. In 1986,
Wait a minute.
when
You got a big head here. She showed
it
us
looks
stuff.
fine to me. Besides, it
Look at the
wasn't,
size of that head.
It wasn't just Greg Kuya who was hired as the city manager. It was also under the leadership of Mayor Kay Boyd and Lacey City Council, who annexed the property known as Hawks Prairie into the city of Lacey.
Was beginning to look further east, and city leadership eyeing new businesses. Lacey began to emerge as more than just that skinny little kid sister that Erin was talking about. But in my mind, two events removed any doubt that Lacey was now its own community. And the first one, under the leadership of Greg, the city was able to get the public facility district money that Olympia thought was theirs. After lots of bargaining back and forth, Olympia managed to retain 27% of that money for the Hands-On Children's Museum, and Lacey got 73% for the Regional Athletic Complex. The RAC, as it's called, put the city on the sports map. Then in 2001 came 9/11 and the war against terror. It was then that the residents of Lacey began to realize the large number of military families which resided in the community. With the leadership of the Hawks Prairie Rotary Club came the creation of the Military Family Support March and the homecoming statue on Marvin Road. It's estimated that some 40% of people in Lacey have some connection to the military. Lacey now has a military community with close ties to military families. Retired military and military spouses have involved themselves deeply into this community. Lacey in the 21st century has become its own thriving city.
A sign of its modern identity, the city of Lacey signed an accord with the Nisqually tribe in March of 2014, which, while acknowledging the historical ties between the two communities, called for an annual renewal of this relationship and working together toward mutually beneficial goals. The totem pole that now resides in City Hall, a gift from the tribe, is a daily visual reminder of this partnership. Although Lacey still grapples with its separate identity, residents say that what they love about Lacey is its natural beauty, parks to enjoy, a wide variety of community events and opportunities for recreation, an excellent school system, and fire department, and pride and diversity and military families. But what really sets us apart is the people of Lacey. And contrary to what you might read in the paper, we think we do have a great identity. I like it.
There's them here to eat, I don't think.
Yes, Cynthia's here.
Was Cynthia here?
Yeah.
I don't know what I was doing in that picture.
That was obvious.
So we hope that you will join us in celebrating our 50th anniversary. We plan on having a bigger and better fireworks display to kick it off. Our second annual Midsummer's Ice Cream at the Lacey Museum, which will include a visit from Bob Bloom across the grave, a winter lighted parade, a reception honoring the city's birthday in December, a traveling exhibit, and a mayor's gala in the spring.
We can't get back to all this stuff by December.
Well, that's why we're going to take a whole year to celebrate, July to July.
Of course we are. I love it. But we're also inviting the community to participate with us in this celebration. We want you to become a partner. We have forums called Be a Partner, Celebrate Lacey. And Alice has some in the back room if you'd like to get them. We're asking you to join with us along with hundreds of other individuals, organizations, and businesses. And if you do that, you will get a little window sticker that you can put on your car, your business, and so on, celebrating Lacey's 50th birthday. Now, I guess Erin and I are going to answer some questions, if there are any. Oh, we have plenty of time.
Yes, you do.
That's because you stuck to the script.
And it was boring, wasn't it?
You shouldn't say that. You wrote half of it.
I wrote the other half.
This may be beyond your area of expertise.
Not really.
Was the battle over Tumwater the same as it was with Lacey?
No, Tumwater was in existence before Olympia was.
Although, as a side note, when they did try to annex Lacey, there was talk of including Tumwater in that too, but it didn't happen.
Now, Lacey was a city before Tumwater was a city before Olympia.
You gotta ask Pete. He was the mayor, and they did go to court with Olympia. Pete,
Pete?
you guys went to court with the mayor of Tumwater.
What's the question?
I don't know what the question is.
Was it similar? You guys went to court with
Well, that
Olympia
was
over
the
an
Proposition 1 where they're going to have the freeholders.
Right, the freeholders election, yeah.
Election.
That's another question. I saw another hand back there. Courtney?
What are some things local businesses can do to support this celebration, Ken?
Well, it says on the back of the partnership form This says that you can create a special event if you want to. You can promote Lacey through your already existing event. You can promote Lacey through your business, by cross promotions, window decals, poster placement, and advertisement. You can host if you're presentation by our Speakers Bureau, Erin and I. You can sponsor a booth at the July 3rd Fireworks Spectacular or at the Freedom Concert every near Vista Park. Or you can enter a lighted vehicle in our 50th anniversary parade. Those are just some of the things, but if you have some other ideas, you can do that as well. Anything else? Well, now
Oh, Cynthia.
Cynthia's going to have something.
Well, there's also, you can go online and sign the pledge to be part of our compassionate community.
Yes.
Yeah, you can go online and click on 50th anniversary, and you can get some more information. Thank you very much for your time and your attention, and see me afterwards. I'll tell you the real story that Larry won't let me tell.
Erin, Kim, thanks for a great program. And thank you, Erin, for keeping him on the straight and narrow. I know he would have swayed. We have this practice you may not be aware of. Ken is donating a book to the South Sound Reading Foundation. You do it at Gateway? Where'd you pick that up from?
I don't know.
Probably from Olympia. Well, I have a book here that relates a little bit to what you're doing. It says, If I Lived 100 Years Ago. So it'll be a nice little book for kids to see what went on 100 years ago. So if you wouldn't mind signing that, can you also?
Yeah. And I want to give you a window sticker for your car, your house, or whatever you want. Stick it on here.
Thank you.
Everybody knows you're happy to be in Lacey. Yeah, thank you.
I'm always happy to be in Lacey. I'm in Lacey right now. Thank you very much. Anyway, give him another round of applause.